Hey guys, welcome back to Game Talk 24/7. Today is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Bill Belichick somehow gets snubbed from being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Todd Monken gets hired as the Browns head coach. And we had some great college basketball games that happened this past Wednesday and Tuesday. We're going to talk about all that and more right here on Game Talk 24/7. But before we get to that, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. It really helps us grow, and I appreciate it more than you know. Also, don't forget to like the video, and don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. We go through the comments, and we reply through the comments every single day. I really appreciate it. Now, let's start talking Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was snubbed from being a first ballot Hall of Famer, which if you don't know what that means, it means a first ballot Hall of Famer is the first time you're ever on the ballot. So the first time you're ever on the ballot and you get in 40 out of 50 votes is what you need, and you get those 40 votes and you become a Hall of Famer your first try, that's more special than being a multi-year inductee. So Bill Belichick had the ability to be a first-year ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been a first-year ballot Hall of Famer, a first ballot Hall of Famer, instead of being a multi-year inductee. It's more special. It means a little bit more. It separates. That's what creates some separation in the Hall of Fame of the first ballot Hall of Famers to the multi-year inductees. Now, the voting system and how it works is not correct. Now, the NFL Hall of Fame did issue a statement about they might remove some voters if they did not follow their bylaws to their voting and everything that happened on there after the outcry that happened from Bill Belichick being snubbed from being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the greatest coach of all time. He is second all time in wins with 333. He has the most playoff wins of any head coach of all time with 31 to only 13 playoff losses. He has the most Super Bowl rings of all time as a head coach, 6. He also has 2 rings as a defensive coordinator with the Giants. And you tell me that guy's not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I get it. Spygate is a thing. It happened. Deflategate's a thing. It happened. Spygate. Well, when was Spygate? It was the main year was 2007 that they got fined and lost draft picks for due to that season. That was the main year. They went undefeated. They went to the Super Bowl and they lost the Super Bowl. Also that year, again, they lost in the Super Bowl. They didn't win the Super Bowl. But before that, it's been it's been kind of confirmed that it was happening from about 2000 2007, and there were over 40 games between that time with tape signs. And so that includes when exactly? That includes 3 Super Bowl rings. That includes 2002, 2004, and 2005, before 2007. The thing is, though, they didn't get vacated. They didn't take away their rings. They didn't take away their wins, because you still can't deny the product that was on the field. That product was still on the field. They still won those games. They still won the Super Bowl. Yes, it's easier to win when you know someone signs, when you know what plays are coming. But let's be honest. Most teams were trying to do it back then. The thing with that is, though, the everybody's doing argument is not a good argument if you're Bill Belichick. Everybody was doing it, so why am I getting blamed for it? Just because everybody was trying to do it and everybody was doing it doesn't mean everybody got caught doing it. And in a situation like this where it's back and forth debate of whether you should go in or not, in like a debating format, people are not gonna put you in over that because, oh, well, you did get caught doing it and you did, and they're gonna say you cheated. But you still gotta let his accomplishments speak for themselves, in my opinion. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. We know that for sure. He should be in 100% next year. It should not take him more than 2 attempts on being on the ballot to be a Hall of Famer. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been a unanimous 50 out of 50 probably first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, also, one argument though to that. Bill Belichick was 249 wins and 75 losses with Tom Brady, a 76.9 win percentage with Tom Brady, averaging 28 points per game. Without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick was 84 and 103, which is a 44.9 win percentage, and without Tom Brady, and a 19.8 points per game without Tom Brady. So, is Tom Brady the reason why Bill Belichick was successful? No, Bill Belichick was successful before Tom Brady, as we spoke before, as a defensive coordinator with the Giants when he had 2 Super Bowls there. He wasn't the head coach, but he was a defensive coordinator. Then, with those Super Bowl winning teams, Tom Brady was good, yes. He's phenomenal. Greatest quarterback of all time. 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 7 Super Bowl wins. Difference is, though, all those teams that Tom Brady was on with the Patriots also had really good defenses. And Bill Belichick being a defensive guy and the head coach, we know it's his defensive system is running. So, besides just having Tom Brady, those teams had good defenses too. They didn't just have good offenses. They didn't have to carry the defense. They had solid defenses too that could help win. It wasn't all just Tom Brady. One man cannot win you a Super Bowl. It's a team sport, it's a team aspect. And when you have a quarterback that's really good, that's phenomenal. You have one domino checked off the list. Now you need some receivers, some linemen on the defensive and offensive side, some corners, some safeties, some linebackers that can all play, some tight ends, some running backs. You need a full team. You need a list. You need a roster. There's a reason why the Bengals aren't succeeding right now. They have a quarterback. They have some receivers, but their offensive line has gotten better. This is the best it's been for Joe Burrow's whole career. Their defensive line, though, not great. Their defense as a whole, not great. And as you can tell, their offense can't carry their defense to a Super Bowl. They can't carry them to a Super Bowl win. They can't even carry them to the playoffs. And so you see, you need a team. You need a team to win the Super Bowl. You don't just need one player, which was Tom Brady. You need a team. Now, once he loses Tom Brady, he struggled to find that quarterback. But also, other coaches struggle to find quarterbacks. Now, the difference is, let's say Mike Tomlin, for example. Once he lost Big Ben, Mike Tomlin still had a winning record without Big Ben. That's fair. Mike Tomlin also does not have, though, 6 Super Bowls wins as a head coach and 2 as a defensive coordinator. He has 1 Super Bowl win as a head coach, I am pretty sure. And so when you go off of that alone, saying, oh well, he doesn't have success without Tom Brady, okay? And does Tom Brady have success without Bill Belichick? Yes, he did with the Buccaneers. We already know that, but you still can't say those Patriot teams would win with a different head coach without Bill Belichick, or maybe not that they would win without a different head coach. But let's say you take Tom Brady off those teams. Do those teams still win? Maybe. If they have a decent enough quarterback, yeah, because again, it's a team sport. You need all the dominoes in place and the right factors to win a Super Bowl. It's not just one factor that weighs in, it's a whole bunch. Bill Belichick should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should have been probably a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. Again, got snubbed, but you know what? He's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. Just it won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. It won't be that more special version of an inductee. But we also know the voting process hasn't been great. Like I said, I'm a Bengals fan. Growing up as a Bengals fan, Willie Anderson should have been in the Hall of Fame by now. He hasn't. So again, you look at that and you say, is the voting system in the Hall of Fame broken? Maybe it is. Also, the Browns hire 59-year-old Todd Monken as their next head coach. What does that mean for the Cleveland Browns? So they hired Todd Monken, who has never been a head coach before, and is 59. How often do you have success hiring a 59-year-old head coach who's never been a head coach before? Not really. There's not really a lot of options to go off of. There's not a lot of success there. It's like saying, oh, well, we kind of had a failed coaching search because we wanted coaches to take a personality test and write an essay. Are we serious? This is the NFL and you're having coaches take a personality test and write an essay to decide who's going to be your next head coach. Are we serious? Like, come on. What are we doing? That's a joke. Are we serious? It's not high school. It's not college. Why are we taking a personality test and writing an essay to find out who's going to be your next head coach? How does it determine who's going to be the best play caller? Who's going to be the best at developing players? Who's going to get the most out of the roster that you currently have? And who's going to help you pick the players that you need to get? Tell your GM the players that you need to get to make this roster even better. It doesn't. I'm not saying Todd Monken's a bad coach. He's not. He's a good offensive mind. Do I think he's going to be a good head coach, though? Well, if he was, he would have already been a head coach before. Like I say, he's 59. He's never been a head coach. He would have already been a head coach before if he was that good. I mean, he would have been one when he was younger. As you see all these younger head coaches getting jobs in the NFL, like Jesse Minter, for example, Joe Brady. Usually when you're going to be a successful head coach, you get your first head coaching job when you were younger, whether it's in the NFL or college. He didn't have either. And so you look at it and it's like, Todd Monken really the guy? Or is Todd Monken that stale bread that's good? It's stale bread. People will still eat it. It'll still be useful, but it's not like that fresh bread in the bag. It's not like we just had a winter storm where I'm at, so a lot of people are going to the store, getting bread, getting milk. I don't know why we're getting milk with a winter storm. Let's say the power goes out. What's the milk good for then? It's going to spoil. But getting bread, it's unperishable. In the bag, you find a piece of stale bread and a piece of fresh bread. Todd Monken's a stale bread. The fresh bread is like a Jesse Minter, a young coordinator who is very talented and has the ability to be a really good head coach someday. You're going to want that fresh bread. You're not going to want that 59-year-old stale bread that is Todd Monken. Todd Monken could succeed. He could succeed. Do I see that happening though? No. Also, it's the Browns. Dysfunctional organization, in my opinion. I mean, again, you're having coaches take a personality test and write an essay to decide who your head coach is going to be. That's not a great idea. The Cardinals and Raiders are also still looking for a coach. While the Raiders are still looking for a coach, I trust them with Tom Brady as a partial owner. I mean, as we have seen Tom Brady start to take a bigger role in decision making with the Raiders, as you've seen him like on the sidelines at the Miami Indiana National Championship game, looking at Fernando Mendoza and who he wants to be their quarterback. You see him making a little bit more of the decisions and coming in there. Now, without further ado, let's talk some college basketball. We had some great games lined up on Tuesday, like Kentucky versus Vanderbilt. Kentucky loses 55-80. You could tell within like the first 2 minutes of the game, Vanderbilt was going to win it, and they were going to win it by a lot. I wasted 2 hours of my life watching this game that I will not get back, and it is because Kentucky chooses when to use effort and when not to. They choose when to play hard and when not to. For example, Malachi Moreno inbounds the ball to Otega-Oweh, and Otega-Oweh decides to step out of bounds with the ball and inbound it to Malachi Moreno. Well, what happened? Otega-Oweh got the ball, stepped out of bounds, ball goes to Vanderbilt. It's a turnover because neither of them were paying attention or listening to each other. And so Otega-Oweh's like, why do you want me to inbound the ball? Inbounds it back to him. Doesn't realize Malachi Moreno inbounded it to him, and then he stepped out of bounds and then tried to inbound to Malachi Moreno. It makes no sense whatsoever. But Vanderbilt was led by Tyler Tanner with 19 points, Devin McGlockton with 11, and then Tyler Nickel with 19. And then A.K. Okereke, I said Okereke points. It's Okereke with 9 points. And then Jalen Washington with 0. Off the bench, they had Chandler Bing with 11. Wow, Chandler Bing. Imagine being named Chandler Bing and not being from Friends. Well, he is. So he must have a lot of conversations about that. But they had Chandler Bing, not from Friends, but the basketball player. He came off the bench with 11 points. Vanderbilt shot 40% from the field, 38% from the three-point line, 80% from the free throw line with 43 rebounds, out-rebounding Kentucky 43-37. They also had 9 turnovers to Kentucky's 15. That is 6 turnovers in favor of Vanderbilt because Kentucky turned the ball over 15 times, and well, they only turned it over 9. Kentucky was led by Otega-Oweh with 20 points, Denzel Aberdeen with 15, and that's about all you get from there because then you get Andre Yelovich with 2, starter, by the way. Malachi Moreno with 4, starter, by the way. Colin Chandler with 4, another star, by the way. Wow, besides 2 starters, you get a total of 10 points in production from the rest of them. That's not great. And then off the bench, how many points do you think they got? 10. Trent Noah with 3, Mohamed Diabate with 2, Jasper Johnson with 5. That's not great. They shot 32% from the field. Awful. 25% from the three-point line. Blindfolded. 58% from the free throw line. Again, blindfolded. Why? Again, okay, in a game they choose to play with 0 effort, 0 hustle, 0 intensity. When they're a team that has no identity, that has to play with effort, hustle, intensity, if they even want to win, they go on the road against a ranked team to get their best win of so far this season, and they blow it by not working hard, not hustling, not playing the hardest that they could, and you see it in their body language. You see every time they get down by a couple points, they get defeated. They deflate. This ain't Deflategate. This is just deflate state at Kentucky. They just deflate. They become this deflated state of a basketball player, and they start just shooting random shots they shouldn't be taking bad shots. And again, you see it. It's like they're blindfolded when they're shooting. They don't see the defender in front of them. They don't see where their hand's at. They don't see the board. They don't see the ball. They just grab and they shoot like this, and they chuck it up and hope it goes in. They shoot up a prayer, and they hope it goes in. And, well, again, 32% from the field, 25% from the three-point line, and 15% from the free throw line. Those prayers did not go in. Kentucky loses. Kentucky plays Arkansas on the road this weekend. They need to get that win to get back on track because, boy, oh, boy, are things going south in the SEC conference for Kentucky. Indiana upsets Purdue 72-67. It's not 6-7, it's 67. But they upset Purdue. And Indiana was led by none other than Lamar Wilkerson. Lamar Wilkerson's a stud, averaging almost, 19.4 points a game, almost 20 points a game. Lamar Wilkerson is a stud, but he had 19 points. Nick Dorn had 18. Tucker DeVry had 9. Connor Enright had 8. Sam Alexis had 2. Reed Bailey had 9 off the bench. You had 46% from the field goal, shot 46% from the field, 36% from the three-point line, 74% from the free throw line, having 28 rebounds, getting out-rebounded 28-33 by Purdue. But you also had 2 less turnovers than Purdue. You're 8 to their 10. You also had three more assists than Purdue, 16-13. Purdue was led by none other than Trey Kaufman ran with 23 points, Braden Smith with 14 points and 5 assists. Fletcher Loyer with 8, CJ Cox with 8, Oscar Clough with 2, Daniel Jacobson with 3, Jack Benter with 5, handing Purdue their second loss in a row. Purdue shot 48% from the field, 35% from 3, 53% from the free throw line, going 8 of 15 with 33 rebounds, 13 assists, 10 turnovers, 5 steals, 2 blocks. So where do you lose this game? Well, you lose it at the free throw line, shooting 53%. You lose by 5, going 8 of 15. Let's say you go 13 of 15. It's a 72-72 game. Now you can say the same thing for Indiana, going 14 of 19 from the free throw line, going 74%. That's not bad, but if they made 2 more, then it's not 72-72. So you can look at that. But where do they lose this game? Well, they could not stop Lamar Wilkerson and Nick Dorn. Lamar Wilkerson's a stud. He's good offensively. He has really good games, and this was one of those games where he had a really good game. Indiana handing Purdue in a rivalry game nonetheless, on the road at Indiana. Again, at Simon. I don't remember the rest of their name. It's Assembly Hall. I don't remember the rest, but again, they win on the road. Indiana wins at home. Sorry, not on the road against Purdue in a rivalry game, in an in-state rivalry, giving Purdue their second loss after Purdue loses to Illinois. You need more production for Fletcher Loyer. Fletcher Loyer, who averages 12 points a game, only had 8. Again, when you average double digits and you go below double digits and someone else doesn't get into double digits, your team's scoring production goes down. It went down, and they did not succeed. You have UConn pulling off another close win, 87-81 against Providence. UConn's loving a lot of close wins in the Big East. Is the Big East tougher than we thought, or is UConn just being inconsistent in these games, whether it's offensively or defensively? I think it's the later comment. I think UConn has been a little bit inconsistent. If I said Indiana, my bad. I was just talking about UConn's been a little inconsistent in these games. For instance, against Georgetown, they win 64-62. Then against Villanova, they win 75-67. There's times where their offense is inconsistent and their defense is great, and they win defensively. And there's times where their defense is inconsistent. For instance, in this game, winning 87-81, their defense is a little inconsistent, but their offense is great. They've got to merge those two together. They got to complete the sandwich. Take the peanut butter slice of bread and the jelly slice of bread, put them together. That's all they got to do, and they're a complete team, and they're really good. UConn is a still really, really, really good team, being 20-1, your number 2 team in the country, obviously, for a reason. UConn was led by none other than Terrence Reed Jr. with 19 points, Silas Demery with 15, Solo Ball with 17, Jalen Stewart with 2, Alex Caravan with 8. Alex Caravan also had 9 rebounds and 7 assists. Silas Demery, your point guard, also had 6 assists. Off the bench, you have Eric Ryba with 14 and Malachi Smith with 12. So you lose Braylon Mullins. I think he has a concussion. You lose Braylon Mullins due to the concussion, and you have people on the bench step up. That's what I'm saying with Purdue. Fletcher Loyer, if he's not going to score his double-digit points a game, someone else in the scoring margin needs to step up and do that. And no one did against Indiana, and that's why you lose on the road at Assembly Hall. UConn shot 45% from the field, 46% from the three-point line, 64% from the free throw line. While they shot 64% from the free throw line, they were trying to shoot left-handed with one hand tied by their back, or if they're left-handed, right-handed with one hand tied by their back. They still shot a not terrible percentage. 64 is terrible. Let's be real. It's not good. It's not terrible. Terrible is like 50 or 60 or lower. 64, it's not good, but they're 6% off of 70 as a team percent, which is about where you want to be for the lowest, in my opinion. Going 18-28. They can do better, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. Also, Silas Demery and Terrence Reed both got in foul trouble with 4 fouls. And then over on the side of the Providence Friars, no longer led by Ed Cooley because he went to Georgetown. Providence was led by Jameer Jones with 20 points. Oswin, I'm not even gonna say number 55's name, because again, I know names, but sometimes reading them is a lot harder than saying them. He had 14 points. Stefan Vox had 12. Jalen Sellers 18. Off the bench, you had Nilavin Daniels with 7, and Ryan Mello with 6. Man, they have some hard names on Providence. Going 48% from the field, 36% from the three-point line, 77% from the free throw line. Where do you lose this game? You lose this game at the 3-point line, going 5 of 14, whereas Purdue went 11 of 24. Your percentages, they shot 46%, you shot 36%. 10% difference. Not beneficial. Also, you went 48% from the field, they went 45%, so your field goal percentage was higher, but you went 26 of 54, they went 29 of 65, so they made 3 more field goals, and you lose by 6. They make 3 more field goals, which is either 3 threes or 3 twos, and you lose by 6, so you lost by 3 layups, 3 twos, 3 mid-range shots, or 6 free throws if you want to go by that, except you made 6 more free throws than they did, going 24-31, so it's not 6 free throws. Next up, you have Michigan beating Nebraska, handing the Cornhuskers their first loss. Boy, was this a phenomenal game. Nebraska led for most of the game, besides the first minute of the game, maybe when Michigan was up 3-2 or 3-0, and then Nebraska takes the lead 5-3, something like that. And they led for almost the whole entire end of the game until about this final 4 to 2 minutes ish of the game. Now, it's also worth noting Nebraska was without Rick Mast, and they were also without Rick Mast, and they were without Braden Frager. So missing Rick Mast, who averages 14.6 points a game, and Braden Frager averages 12.2 points a game, that's not beneficial. That's going to hinder you. And you lose by 3 on the road at Michigan. You are on the road. You are at the Chrysler Center. You're not at home. You're on the road at the Chrysler Center going against Michigan. Missing Rick Mast, who had the flu, and then Braden Frager. Not beneficial. 2 starters. I'm pretty sure Braden Frager's a starter. 2 starters. That doesn't help you win whatsoever. Missing 2 starters. That is a recipe for disaster there. And well, it kind of was a disaster as of late. For instance, you have 2 wide open threes to tie the game from Jamarcus Lawrence, and he misses them both. After he went 4 of 9 from the 3-point line in the game, 2 of those 9 misses. Not 9 misses, 4 for 9 as a whole. 2 of his 5 misses were at the end of the game when you are down by 3. He's wide open. He takes one, misses it. They get the ball back again late, takes it again, misses it, and it's not beneficial. Michigan was led by Jackson Landenborg, who had 10, Morez Johnson Jr., who had 17. So technically, Morez Johnson Jr. led them, but Morez Johnson Jr., who had 17 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. Adai Mara with 10, Jackson Landenborg again with 10, Elliot Cadeau with 7 and 7 assists. Namari Burnett with 9 points. And then on the bench, you had Trey McKinney with 11 and Wilt Cheddar with 7. Imagine having the last name Cheddar. Like cheddar cheese, it's kind of nice. That'd be a nice name. That'd be a fun last name. Again, there's some fun names in college basketball. I would put Will Cheddar on, not Wilt, but Will Cheddar on the college basketball all-name team. Because, well, who doesn't want to have the last name Cheddar? Again, cheddar cheese. He shot 47%. They shot 47% from the field, 23% from the 3-point line, 83% from the free throw line. Nebraska's defense stonewalled Michigan for most of that game. Like I said, 23% shooting from the 3-point line. Nebraska's a good defensive team. They held Michigan at the 3-point line, and they kind of forced Michigan to play a little bit more of a scrappy game. And eventually, Michigan's size advantage came into play, and they took the lead, and then they kept it because Nebraska then couldn't get their open shots they were getting before. Or if they got open shots, they were missing them. But they were having to work hard to get those open shots. They were having to take tougher shots, and not having your best big in Rick Mast or Braden Frager, it's not helpful. Braden Frager's not big, but it's not helpful. Not having Rick Mast, who is your best big. You were led by, again, Jamarcus Lawrence with 20 points, Price Sanford with 20. You had Caleb Jacobson with 8. Sam Hoiberg with 13. Leo Curtis with 6. You shot 46% from the field, 34% from the 3-point line, going 11 of 32, 75% from the free throw line. So you made 5 more threes than they did, taking 6 more attempts. You also made 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Difference there. Michigan went 19 of 23 from the free throw line. You only got 4 free throw attempts. Michigan was disciplined. They did not foul, or if they did foul, the refs didn't call it. So Michigan, we're not going to blame the refs why you lost. Michigan was disciplined. They didn't foul. They only had 11 total fouls on the game. So in that essence, when you only take 4 free throw attempts to the other team's 23, which is a 19 differential, and it's going to be hard to win a game, especially when you make 5 more threes than they do. You make 4 more field goals than they do, going 29-63. They went 25 of 53. It comes down to those free throws. You lose by 3, And, well, you made 3 free throws, so 3 points. They made 19, so 16 more than you, which is a 16-point swing. That's not beneficial. But Nebraska showed that their defense is really good. Their offense is really good. They can hang with anyone in the country in college basketball, playing on the road at Michigan at the Chrysler Center. They can hang with anyone. They can beat anyone. Now they have a game against Illinois. And I'm pretty sure that game is at Nebraska. Yeah, that game is at Nebraska. Will Rink Mass be healthy, not have the flu, and we'll be back? Or will you have a Rink Mass flu game? He has a flu, but he still plays. He has a flu game. I don't know. We'll find out. But again, Nebraska has proven they can play with anybody in the country. They can beat anybody in the country. They're a good team. They were undefeated for a reason, being 20-1. Now they're 20-1. If they beat Illinois, they'll be 21-1. If they lose, they'll still be 20-2, and they'll still be a really good team. They just got to now get healthy, get Brain Frager back, get Rink Mass back, get healthy. Don't look too high. Don't be too ecstatic that you were in this close of a game with Michigan. Because while you're not going to be ecstatic because you lost the game, obviously. But you're going to say, oh, we were in this close game. We could have won it. We could beat anybody. Stay humble. Be hungry. That's what you need to do if you're Nebraska. And they can definitely beat Illinois this weekend. You have Arkansas coming back, beating Oklahoma 83-79 on the road, coming back late, led by none other than freshman sensation, another star point guard under John Calipari, Darius Acuff Jr. with 21 points, Malik Thomas with 16, Carter Knox with 11, Malik Ewan with 12, Nick Pringle with 8, Trevor Brazil with 6, going 56% from the field. Words are hard sometimes. Billy Richmond also had 9 points. TJ Wagner had 0. But 56% from the field, 12% from the three-point line, 85% from the free throw line. Out-rebounding. Actually, getting out-rebounded 31-34. Oklahoma out-rebounded you by 3. But you also had more assists, 17-12. And you had less turnovers, 6 to their 12. So they had double your turnovers. Oklahoma did. With 12, that's not successful if you're Oklahoma, and that's why you lose the game after being up for most of the game by 4. Oklahoma was led by Tay Davis with 14, Darian Reed with 12, Xavier Brown with 13, Nigel Pack with 22, shooting 46% from the field, 37% from the three-point line, and 92% from the free throw line. So what did Arkansas do? They went 2 of 17 from the three-point line, 12%. They won the game shooting blindfolded, both their hands tied behind their back, and trying to headbutt the ball like it's a soccer ball from the three-point line. The World Cup ain't here yet. That's this summer. The World Cup ain't here yet. They shot and they tried to headbutt the ball in basically from the three-point line, blindfolded, and they still somehow won the game. You went 37% from the three-point line, going 10-27, and you somehow lose. It's because field goal attempts wise, you both had 63. Nebraska went 35-63. You went 29-63. Not Nebraska. Arkansas, went 35-63. Oklahoma, you went 29 of 63. Also, you had 12 turnovers to their 6. Turnovers are a big deal. They are a big factor. Both teams made 11 free throws, going 11 of 12 for Oklahoma and 11 of 13 for Arkansas. It comes down to the field goals. Same amount of attempts. One team shot 56% from the field. The other team shot 46%. Sometimes it happens. It also comes down to turnovers. And when you turn the ball over six times more than your opponent, 12-6, you usually lose those games. Virginia wins a stunner in overtime against a very bad Notre Dame team, 100-97 in overtime. Again, they win in overtime to a very, very bad Notre Dame team, not needing only 1 but 2 buzzer beater threes throughout that game. And boy, oh boy, do you not want to have to come down to buzzer beating threes to win a game. But they did. And well, guess what? It happened. It happened. And well, if you're Notre Dame, you're disappointed. You're disappointed. And it's not really buzzer beating threes. It was free throws for Virginia that led to them tying the game, being down by 2, and what was a close game overall. It's free throws with about 18 seconds left. Devin Tillis makes 2. He makes 1-2, down 2. He makes both of his free throws. Notre Dame timeout. 20-foot three-point jumper. Offensive rebound, Notre Dame. Braden Shrewsbury misses a 29-foot three-point jumper. And then clock hits 0. We're going to overtime. So actually there was one really buzzer beater 3, but still a good comeback by Virginia to lead it to overtime. And then in overtime, Sam Lewis makes a 25-foot three-point jumper to win the game. Actually, to tie the game in the first overtime. Sorry, there were 2 overtimes. So you do have 2 buzzer beater threes. Non-regulation. Those were free throws. But then overtime, again, Sam Lewis makes a 25-foot three-point jumper to tie the game, assisted by Dallin Hall. And then in double overtime, what's the score? It is Sam Lewis making free throws to extend your lead, by the way. But before that, what's the score? What's going on? Who has the lead? Who's going to win? Well, Virginia kind of takes the lead and kind of leads the way throughout all of overtime. Whether they have the lead by 1 or they're just down by 1. But when they're down by 1, then they come back. Let's see, in the final minute of the game, Virginia is down 92-93. But DeRidder makes both of his free throws to give you the lead 94-93, and you never look back. Never look back. Because down Hall, that makes 2 free throws, giving you the lead 96-93. Then Notre Dame makes 2 free throws, 96-95. And then Sam Lewis makes a 16-foot step-back jumper, 98-95. And then Notre Dame misses a 27-foot three-point jumper. Sam Lewis gets the ball. Sam Lewis gets fouled. You win 100-97 off of a layup late in the game with 1 second left by Notre Dame. I don't know if they weren't going to come back. They were down by 5, but I still understand. I understand taking the lead, I guess, because 1 second left, you can try and get a steal and then somehow make a crazy 3. But Virginia wins in a crazy double overtime game against a very bad Notre Dame team again. DeRidder led you with 32 points. Sam Lewis with 21. You have Chance Mallory with 17. Devin Tillis with 12. Shooting 48% from the field, 34% from the three-point line, 80% from the free throw line. Out-rebounding Notre Dame 40-35 in a double overtime game. Notre Dame was led by Jalen Harlison with 20. Brady Culler with 16. Carson Tao with 6. Your leading scorer, Cole Serta, with 34. He is certified. Get it? Cole Serta. He is certified with 34. And Brandon Shrewsbury with 18. Going 48% from the field, 41% from the three-point line, 82% from the free throw line. This was a back-and-forth game all game long. The difference in this game comes down to A, the rebound margin, B, the field goal margin of 2 more field goals to Virginia to 2 less by Notre Dame. And Virginia is your winner of a stunning double overtime game. Some other games that we had on Tuesday. You had Michigan State Michigan State winning 88-79. You had Arkansas, again, beating Oklahoma. I already said it's 83-79. You had St. Louis beating George Washington 79-76 with the help of Robbie Avila. He ain't Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He is Cream Abdul-Jabbar. He is white chocolate. He is Cream Abdul-Jabbar, making a 3 to win you that game, 79-76 against George Washington. Alabama whooping Missouri, giving them the belt 90-64, led by Latrell Wrightsell with 21 points. And Miami, Ohio, once again, stays undefeated, coming back in a game they were down, winning 86-84 against UMass. Then on Wednesday, you have Houston beating TCU 79-70. Houston was led by none other than freshman sensation, again, Kingston Flemings. Get to know that name. He's a great player, and he will be the great player probably in the NBA someday. Emmanuel Sharp with 23 points. Milos Uzan with 10 points, 4 assists. Kingston Flemings also had 5 assists. Joseph Tugga with 0 points, 1 turnover, 0 steals, 0 blocks in 10 minutes. There's a reason why I only played 10 minutes that game. Chris Sinai Jr., 34 minutes, 8 points, 14 rebounds. A freshman that has been a phenomenal freshman center. Usually these freshman centers take a little while longer to play better than other freshman positions. He's 6'11". He averaged 9.2 points a game, 7.9 rebounds, 14 rebounds. That'll get it done. That'll keep you on the court. There's a reason why you played 34 minutes. But then you have Isaiah Harwell off the bench with 0. Your leading player off the bench was Ramon Walker Jr. with 6 points. Not a lot of bench production there, but with Houston, they get production from their starters, so they don't use a lot of their bench, and they don't get a lot of production from their bench. Shooting 44% from the field, 39% from the three-point line, 92% from the free throw line, having out-rebounding TCU 31-30. TCU was also led by Xavier Edmonds with 18. David Punch, again, a nice last name, Punch. David Punch, 16. Brock Harding with 8 and 5 assists. Jane Pierre with 5. And that's about all you get there. Tanner Toulson off the bench with 8. shooting 47% from the field, 27% from the three-point line, 64% from the free throw line. Not great. Again, you got rebounded by one. You lose the game. What happened? How did you lose? I was watching this whole game, as I watched most of these whole games, and you see there, it was close for most of the game. At halftime, Houston was up 43-30, so TCU's down by 13. But TCU starts to battle back, and they make it close. They're outscoring Houston 40-36. At one point, it's about a 5-point game with about 5 minutes left, or close to 5 minutes left at one point. And so you're Houston, you're asking yourselves, is TCU really going to come back? Are they going to win this game? No, because Houston's defense stops TCU's offense. Houston, again, phenomenal defensively, stops TCU's offense. And, well, what happens from there? Houston's defense turns it up. Their offense starts scoring again. And Kingston Flemings, Milo Suzanne, Manuel Sharp, they start doing their thing. They start shaking and baking, making some shots, passing the ball. Kingston Flemings with a nice assist to Milo Suzanne on a three, by the way, at some point throughout late in that second half. And they start scoring like their offense can. Their defense starts stunning TCU a little bit, folding TCU like they did in that first half, making them take a lot tougher shots, and then force them to have to get rebounds that they weren't getting. And then, again, Houston wins that game. About 5 minutes left in the game, Houston never looked back. Before that, though, it was 62-54 around the 7-minute mark almost. 61-54 around 7:30. So it was 60-54 with 8 minutes and 11 seconds left. 59-54 with 8:22. So again, there's that 5-point game coming late, but then Houston defense steps back up, starts playing the way they were in the first half. Their offense starts playing the way they were in the first half, and they start scoring again. And TCU did not have enough juice in the tank and gas to get back there. Again, also yesterday you had Florida beating South Carolina 95-48, St. John's beating Butler 92-70. This week we have this upcoming weekend and today you have Colorado and Iowa State, Washington and Illinois today. Then tomorrow you have Michigan State and Michigan. What a rivalry game that's going to be. That will be a phenomenal game. It is at Michigan State in East Lansing at the Breslin Center. That will be a phenomenal game. You also have Dayton going against St. Louis. Then on Saturday, again, you have Kentucky at Arkansas at Bud Walton Arena. Can Kentucky beat John Calipari for the first time since he left Kentucky? Mark Pope is 0-1 against John Calipari. Can he become 1-1? Well, with the way the Kentucky team looks, they look like they're going to crash into a wall. So probably not. Duke plays Virginia Tech. Cincinnati plays Houston. Texas Tech plays UCF. Pittsburgh, Clemson. Virginia plays Boston College. Arizona State. North Carolina, Georgia Tech. SMU, Louisville. Northern Illinois, Miami. Can Miami, Ohio stay undefeated? Yes, it's not the Miami Hurricanes. It's Miami, Ohio. Can they stay undefeated? BYU at Kansas. That's another phenomenal game. Can Bill Self win this game, or will BYU reign supreme? That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a phenomenal game. The question is, again, will Bill Self reign? Will Bill Self do a good job, or will Kevin Young and the BYU Cougars, the young head coach at BYU, reign supreme? You have Ole Miss at Vanderbilt, UConn at Creighton. That could be a good game, but Creighton has not been their normal standards this year since losing Kalkbrenner to the draft, and so on and so on of players that they lost, and having to have other players step up. They haven't been good. And then St. Mary's and Gonzaga. That is probably the best WCC matchup you will get all year long is St. Mary's and Gonzaga. Because again, the WCC is a good conference, right? It's great. Yeah, it's the WCC. I love watching it. No, I like watching St. Mary's when they play Gonzaga, and that's about it. WCC is a weak conference. That's why sometimes when I say the WCC, I want to say www.com because I get tripped up saying WCC. But you know what? Sports are great. Life's great. You know what is also great? The Olympics. They're coming up next week. They start next Friday. We'll start talking more about the Olympics next week. Also, you have spring training starting right after the Olympics. For some teams, it's February 9th. Some teams, it might be sooner. Some teams, it might be later. You have the World Baseball Classic in March, in late March. You have the World Cup this summer. Man, what a great year it is going to be in sports. You have all of the normal sports you have, then plus the Olympics, World Cup, World Baseball Classic. What more can you ask for as a sports fan? Sports are great. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. God bless you. That was Game Talk 24/7. Thank you guys for watching.